Slicers are graphical objects that provide an alternative method of filtering data in pivot table report, arguably making filtering quicker, easier, and more visual. Slicers work with pivot tables. Let's get a quick look at the data and create a pivot table. We have the transaction date and product sold, then the region where the product is sold, then the salesperson's name, next is the number of units sold, then sales amount, and finally the cost of the items sold. Let's create a pivot table quickly on a new worksheet. Drop name into columns, drop region into rows and the values. Here we have our pivot table. Now let's move to slicers. Slicers can be created from any field available to the pivot table without having to add the field into the report. It is possible to add multiple slicers for the same pivot table if required. To create a slicer, first select any cell inside the pivot table. Then click Pivot Table Tools, Analyze, and then Insert Slicer. Now, in the Insert Slicer dialog, select which field needs slicers creating. So, we'll choose region, name, and units and click OK. Excel will create an individual slicer for each field that was ticked. If a slicer is no longer required, select it and press the Delete key on the keyboard. I'll click on Units and press Delete, as we don't need to filter by units. Once slicers have been added, they can be used in a variety of ways. For example, click any button on the slicer to apply the filter. For example, let's click North. This will filter the pivot table by North region. Or we can click and drag across adjacent buttons to filter for multiple items. For example, click on North and drag it to South. This will select and filter two regions, North and South. And for non-adjacent buttons like West, hold the Control key and click non-adjacent buttons West to filter for multiple items. This will select and filter three regions, North, South, and West. Now, to clear the filter, click the red cross icon in the top right of the slicer. This will clear all the filters. If there are multiple slicers for the same pivot table, selecting an item in one will affect the second. Unlike filters, slicers show both data that exists in the current filter and data that does not. For example, if in Region Slicer we click on North, it will not only affect our pivot table, but also affect Name Slicer. We can see that Rabi and Rumi have no sales in the North region. Slicers can be customized in a variety of ways. Excel provides a dedicated contextual ribbon tab when a slicer is selected. To format a slicer, select the slicer to be customized, then click the Slicer Tool Options tab on the ribbon. And we can modify the setting as desired. For example, we can change the color or resize the slicer. I hope this tutorial is helpful using the slicers, and if you like this video, then please give the video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button to see more videos like this. Also, if you want to see me cover any other topics on this channel, leave a note down below in the comments. That's all I had for you today. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, I hope to see you next time.